If you judge a man's life by the impact he has made on the people close to him, there are very few coaches in all of sports that can match Dean Smith's incredible legacy. This man knows that firsthand. He's Roy Williams, North Carolina's head basketball coach. Roy, happy you could join us. Sorry about the loss with Coach. Last time you talked to him.
You know, Dan, it's been hard because the last few years it's really been difficult with what he's been going through. And 2 years ago on his birthday he made a statement to me that was very personal and really shook me because it was so nice and so good, and yet that's really the last time that he said anything other than nodding his head or saying yes or something like that. But you know, I went through the same kind of thing. My sister, hers was diagnosed earlier as Alzheimer's. She got it at 50 and was dead at 60. And Coach Smith was so proud, and we hated this for him, and all of us tried to be prepared, and yet I've realized that you can't be prepared because the finality of it is just, it was so sudden.
How many years were you an assistant under Dean?
I was with Coach Smith for 10 years. It was 10 great years. I learned so much. It was off the charts.
And I was trying to describe, and it's always difficult on a moment like this, a day like this, to encapsulate really what he was all about. And I said, it's not just a coach, and he's one of the greatest coaches of all time. He was an even better person, but he was also what I always admired. And I was around Coach with Coach Thompson, and Dean just wanted no publicity whatsoever. He never wanted you to acknowledge the things that he said you're supposed to do. He said, all I did is act like what you're supposed to be, and that's a good person. And what I did, and you know, when he was helping the race relations, when he was helping African Americans getting into North Carolina with Charlie Scott, and that's the one thing that resonated. He didn't want to be acknowledged for things that he thought a man should do.
He was all about doing the right thing, whether people were watching you or not. And you know, ESPN, in fact, did a 80th birthday deal on TV, and so he's here because for 12 years I tried to have him here on his birthday for cake and ice cream from the first year I came back until the last, and he would have been 84 the 28th year of this month. But so on his 80th birthday, I said, Coach, come on in here, I want you to see something. I took him in the film room, and this is, you know, almost 4 years ago. And so they're going through all these accolades and former players and former assistants. We're all talking on TV, and Coach says, when are they going to start talking about you? And I said, well, Coach, it's not my birthday. You know. And so he sat there and he said, well, seriously, when are they going to start talking about you? You're the coach. And I said, Coach, this is about you. This is your birthday today, so I've had enough of this. He got him walked out. And he said he didn't need to watch that kind of stuff. And you're right. He did more things for people without them knowing about it than anyone I've ever known. Most people, when they do something for you, they want somebody else to let you know about it, and if nobody else lets you know about it, they have a way of sort of hinting at it themselves because everybody wants credit, but not Coach Smith. He really was about pushing the players in the front, pushing the school in the front, doing those kind of things. And I mean, we had a heck of a struggle getting the Smith Center here named after him, and we finally convinced him that he was the common denominator. We couldn't name it after all the players. The name would have been too long, and he was the common denominator.
It's Roy Williams, North Carolina head coach, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. I know people would criticize Coach about that he kept Michael Jordan in check. He was the one guy who could have Michael score under 20 points. And I said to the contrary, he got the greatest player in history to buy into a team concept, which that's amazing in itself. But you were there when Coach, you know, had Mike there. What was that like when he's coaching Jordan?
Well, it was, and you know, and those people that say those kind of things, they don't understand really what they're talking about because, number one, Michael did average 21 year, but the bottom line is, even our national championship year, everybody held the ball. I mean, we only had 2 games where we scored more than 80 our national championship year in 82, and because everybody held the ball that we played, controlled the tempo, there was no shot clock, and so that's part of it. But the other thing, when people ask Michael about that, Michael would say that Coach Smith gave me the foundation that I could build on, but he made sure I had a strong foundation, knew the fundamentals, and then I could move into any area because I was strong and fundamentally sound. And I think Michael always appreciated that, and he was the one that made Michael see how important the strong fundamental part of the game was. And then Michael was able to grow, and he did grow. He grew in an inch and a half, and his 40-yard dash time went down almost 0.4 of a second, and all those kind of things. But he bought into Coach Smith's idea about what's best for the team, and every individual would be taken care of.
What's North Carolina going to do to honor Coach with the next game, or what kind of plans are there?
Well, they're not all finalized yet, Dan. I know we're going to have a patch on the jersey. We don't have a home game. The next two games are on the road. There's going to be some type of service this week, and then a celebration or memorial service, I think, the following week. But all those plans haven't been finalized. At least they haven't told me about them this morning. I was in discussion yesterday with some people about this and discussion with the family. But, the best way to honor Coach Smith is just to realize how blessed we all were and how lucky we all were, and try to remember the things that he taught us about each individual. And if I gave him one thing one time and he just loved it, and it wasn't any genius thing on me, if somebody else showed it to me and I brought it and gave it to Coach Smith, it was the story about the little boy. He was pestering his dad to death. His dad was trying to do something else, and his dad gave him a crossword puzzle all torn up and said, put this back together, and when you finish that, then come in and we'll finish this discussion, or something like that. And the kid did it, bam, just so quickly. And his dad said, wow, how'd you do that? And the kid said, I just turned it over and looked on the backside because it was a picture of a little boy. And if you put the little boy together correctly, the puzzle fits right in. And I gave that to Coach Smith, and he thought that was one of the greatest things, maybe the only thing I ever did for him. But that was him. And I think that the way that I hope that we can honor Coach Smith is to care about people, understand that sometimes we're so much more fortunate than others, and caring about the individual and doing what is right, regardless if anyone's looking or not.
Roy, good luck on the road. We appreciate you joining us. Know you got a busy morning. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you very much, Dan. Have a great day.
That's Roy Williams, North Carolina head coach.